Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here, am I on? Can somebody respond?
I called it hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is. It's hump day.
Everybody, it's hump day in the doghouse. I feel a lot better today, too. I don't know about Grizz. We'll find out how he felt. But that thing, I must have had like a 24-hour bug or something like that. I'm feeling a lot better today. We got a lot of ground to cover today in a lot of different areas. And the executives at Fox and TBS got a gift last night as the Yankees survived to the ALCS, giving them at least one marquee team. After the Braves, Mets, and Dodgers exited the playoffs early. And look, Alabama fan, I get that most of you are Braves fans, but you got yours last season, and I'm going to explain to you why you may want to jump on New York the rest of the way. I know it sounds heinous to you. I get that. I get that. I know it sounds heinous, but I will make a compelling argument for why New York is the right team for you. I mean, anyways, look, you can't pull for the Phillies. Let's face it. You tried to pull for the Phillies last night. You're watching that game, and you're like, okay, I'm going to pull for the Phillies. No, I'm not. You can't pull. And the Padres? I mean, come on. Padres got no history. It's zero. It never won the World Series. They haven't even been in anything. They haven't had any LCS since 1998, for God's sakes. And that leaves you with Houston. And only the people in Houston like Houston. I mean, the Yankees are like Alabama. Yankees are always right there, just like Alabama. I mean, love them or hate them. No one is on the fence about them. No one, just like Alabama. Alabama is this huge fan base. But if you're not a fan of Alabama, you hate Alabama. Nobody's like, Alabama, okay. I never really think much about them. Bull crap. You have an opinion about them. Just like the Yankees. Love them or hate them. And I'll give you more reasons to support them as well. Speaking of the Tide. This is Bear Bryant's team, for God's sakes. And Nick Saban is a huge Yankee fan. Every time you see a picture of Saban on his boat on the lake there with the kids and taking them out, the players and taking them out, he's got a Yankees T-shirt on. He's a huge Yankees fan. And I'll give you the thread, too, going all the way back to the 30s as to why Alabama fan wants to be a Yankee fan. I'm just saying. Let's say two words. Mel Allen. I'll explain. We'll take our trip down history lane. I'll explain. And speaking of the Tide, we need to take a deeper dive into this penalty issue. I got some data I need to share with you on this. Really bothering me. It extends through to the quarterbacks, too, during the Saban era. We'll talk about it. If you know what you want to talk about, phone lines are open at 256-576-4977. You can also text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed, personally, is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are on Facebook and Twitter at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show right here. You can watch it as well on WZZN TV, on Twitch, and on YouTube. And welcome to you that are watching the show there. You need to get our apps. Get both apps. Get the Blitz app. Get the Zone app. You need to have the apps. Because there you can find a link to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4, all of our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Now, coming up on Friday night, Buckhorn is on the road against a very good 6-2 Decatur team at Decatur in a non-region game. That'll be on the air with John McGough and I on the call. The Bucks are locked in now to playing 9-0 Hartzell at Hartzell to open the playoffs in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait.
Yeah. On Zone 2, Madison Academy, 5-0 in the region, 6-2 overall, home against Susan Moore. Madison Academy doesn't belong in 3A. Just wrecking havoc in that thing. Every game's a blowout. Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird on that game. Randolph is 7-1, 6-0 in 4A Region 8. They host Priceville, who is also 6-0 in the region. It's a regional championship game. Priceville is also 9-0 overall. And Grizz was out there yesterday with who? With D Squared. I think Grizz was out at D Squared with D Squared and Priceville. It's a good team. Austin Coletti, Drew DeHarmon will be on a call for that one on Zone 3. Woody Anderson, Ford, North Alabama Scoreboard Show with Scott Dyson. We'll start on the Blitz at 8:30 with look-ins, live look-ins. And I feel so much better today. Live look-ins. You notice the energy is back? Live look-ins. And then they'll move to the air after the Buckhorn game. Coming up in a few minutes, Carey's Corner with Josh Carey with some country hardball thoughts as we are into these championship series now. NLCS started last night. Philadelphia getting a 2-0 win at San Diego. The 87-win Phillies are now 3 games away from the World Series. They finished 14 games behind the Braves and 13 games behind the Mets. How would you rank the 4 possible matchups for the World Series? I think Fox is pulling for Yankees-Phillies, personally. I think that's what they want, Yankees-Phillies. I mean, people hate Houston. They hate Houston. And Houston, San Diego, just sounds like death. I mean, I got to be honest with you. If it's Astros-Padres in the World Series, I might watch like an NBA game. Just saying. Maybe not, but I might. At the top of the 11, Danny Owen from the Huntsville Art Museum will join us. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dog, what are you doing talking to a dude from the Huntsville Art Museum? Have you ever been to the Art Museum? Could you find the Art Museum with your GPS? I know you're thinking that. That's a fair question. But Greg Sankey is going to be at the museum with executive editor and publisher of the Sports Business Journal, Abraham Madcore, for an in-depth discussion on the current issues facing college sports. I better see this. Because Sankey should be like the grand poobah of college football. The event is the museum's first Voices of Our Times talk for this season. They do these Voices of Our Times. Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, will be there. Coming up on Thursday night, November 10th at 6:30. Danny Owen is the director of communications down there, and he's going to tell us about the special event. I'll be there. Over there in that little glass room, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air, and I hope he feels a little bit better. Wearing his Nike hoodie. Just the one and only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
First of all, do you feel any better today? Do you feel a little bit better today?
Yeah, I feel a little bit better. I'm still getting it. Like I'm still a little hoarse, but I mean, I'm good.
See, I go down for like a day.
Me too.
I mean?
Like, seriously, I've said before. If I'm done, if I feel like I'm sick and I feel like I'm gonna get somebody sick in some sort of way, I will not come in. But yeah, no, if I can come in, I can come in. I'm like Dan. I'm like Wolverine Dan. You know what I mean? No off days.
I was still in my office last night at 8:00. I mean, it's nuts, right? I was in because I had to get. My wife was at church volleyball practice. She's on the church women's volleyball team.
Are they dominating?
They're 0-1.
Oh,
they're 0-1.
What happened to the stud daughter volleyball player?
Well, it takes more than one.
Oh, okay,
I get it. It takes more than one. My daughter, of course, my daughter's now.
They must have a lot of height on the other team.
My daughter's almost 40 years old. I mean, she's not like the spring chicken she was when she was a championship volleyball player. She's still very good. She's fundamentally very good.
Yeah.
But my wife is on the team as well, and my granddaughter is on the team. So there's 3 generations of my ladies that are on that team. Anyway, she had practice last night. So I was downstairs for a while. We had dinner. I cooked some burgers on the grill. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? She's at practice. I'm not. What am I going to watch that Celtics game? I'm not going to watch that. Put the baseball game.
You watch
on.
the Lakers game.
I was watching some of the Bruins and Ottawa 7-5 game. Ottawa beat the Bruins 7-5. They played 150 times. It was the most goals Ottawa's ever scored against the Bruins. So I had that game on and I had the baseball game on, and I went back up to the office because I remembered I had to have blood drawn this morning, Grizz. So because I got my physicals next week. Yeah. So I got my flu shot and I had to have the blood draw done. And so I knew I had to do that this morning. So I'm like, let me get the jump on the show. So I worked up some stuff on the show last night, and I was in office. And today I feel good. I mean, I'm feeling a lot better today. Now, did you see Kyle Schwarber's home run? Have you seen that home run?
No,
yet?
it's nasty. Yeah, and Bryce Harper's response is perfect. Yeah,
it's 488 feet.
Test that guy. Test that guy.
I mean,
Test him.
Holy mackerel!
Test him right now. But I mean, the release from some of these bats, man, it's ridiculous. I've seen some of the guy. I've seen a guy practice it on a video, like YouTube or TikTok or whatever it was, and he was like hitting the bat speeds, and he was hitting like 118, and around that range. It's ridiculous.
Can I get you? Let me ask you a question. Of the 4 possible matchups, I'm gonna ask Josh Carey this question too. But of the 4 possible matchups, which rank them 1 through 4 in your mind? Like, what's the number 1 matchup that is best for TV in the country? In your mind,
a matchup like between 2 teams?
No. Of the teams that are left, there's 4 teams left.
Oh,
what would be
for the World Series?
What would be the sexiest matchup left in your mind? Because to me, it's Yankees-Phils. I mean, that's, I think, what they want. They want Yankees-Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I hate the Astros, but yeah, that for viewers, yes, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. Nationally, the one that would be the most compelling.
Yes.
And then the
there
Yankees,
are not
Padres
fans that will come out of. I mean, I've seen videos on Twitter that's just like, I'm taking. I know I'm a Braves fan, but I'm taking Phillies by 50 in that series, and then hopefully the Yankees get by the Astros because I absolutely hate the Astros. Even though I do have ties in Houston, my mom's from there, grandparents are from there. My grandfather worked there for many years, so I've been there. And I know you don't love the space jersey, but I do love the space jersey because I have ties there because of the space program out there.
What's the space jersey?
Yeah, you remember when the Astros came out with the space jersey? I know you didn't like their softball league space jersey they didn't come out with. You've seen it. Right. Anyway, but no, I hate the Astros.
So
I just
Houston,
can't stand them.
What would be – so what was
Cheaters.
Worse, Houston Padres or Houston Phillies?
Oh man. No, Houston Phillies would be a pretty good series, I feel like. But yeah, Houston Padres would I don't even know if I'd watch a single inning of that game.
All right, so Houston Padres is last. Yankees Phillies is first.
Yes.
Yankees Padres versus versus Astros Phillies. Yankees Padres.
Oh,
right?
I'll take Astros Phillies
coast
second.
To coast?
Astros Phillies second.
Oh, Astros Phillies second.
Yeah.
So Yankees Padres is third for you.
Yes. I probably wouldn't even watch it because the Padres are in it.
Can I interest you in the Yankees at all? This is Bear Bryant
that was the first
and Nick Saban's team. I know, but I mean...
Yankees Phils. I think it's going to be Yankees Phils.
So you're pulling for the Yankees over Houston.
Oh, definitely. But you got to get past Verlander.
You know, Mel Allen. Well, Verlander, no, they're going to lose tonight. I mean, you got Jason Tyone going against Verlander. And look, they're the underdogs. They were beat 5 out of 7 times this season by the Astros. They lost those 2 ACLSs to the Astros. I think they lost in a wild card game to the Astros.
I think it's like Tennessee. It's bound to happen, right? It's time. You're going to get that win.
Alabama. Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. The Yankees are Alabama. They're not Tennessee. The team that wears orange is the Astros. They're just dominating a little bit right now. So Mel Allen, right? His real name was Mel Allen Israel.
We're working on it. We're working on some history music and stuff.
I got something. I got to have something for history.
We're going to get an
intro when I go down.
We're working on it.
So his real name was Mel Allen Israel. You know who Mel Allen is, right?
Yeah, broadcaster.
He was the voice of the Yankees forever, and he was
He's
the
from
voice
Birmingham,
of
right?
This Week in Baseball. Remember Twib? This Week in Baseball was a fantastic show. He was born in Birmingham.
Yeah.
He was born in Birmingham. He was a classmate of Bear Bryant's at Alabama. All right? And while he was at Alabama, he was the PA announcer for Crimson Tide football in the 30s when he was at Alabama. And in 1933, when the sports director of WBRC, a station that I used to be on, I did the Iron on WBRC, the Birmingham Iron, and I did Birmingham Bulls hockey on WBRC. But WBRC is a legendary radio station. Anyway, the sports director at WBRC in 1933 asked Frank Thomas, right, Alabama coach, not Frank Thomas the Big Hurt, famous Alabama coach Frank Thomas, to recommend a new play-by-play announcer for the Crimson Tide, and he suggested Mel Allen, who was Mel Allen Israel at the time, but he dropped to Israel, probably, it'd be Mel Allen.
He graduated from Alabama, too.
Mel Allen. I said he went to school there. He went to school with
law.
Bear Bryant. I mean, he's an Alabama guy. That's why Bear Bryant was a Yankees fan, because his buddy, Mel Allen. Now, he graduated from law school in Alabama in 1937. He went to New York City for a vacation, and while he was on vacation, he interviewed for a position at CBS Radio Network, and the next thing you know, he was the voice of the Yankees. And his good friend Bear Bryant, big Yankee fan. You know who else is a big Yankee fan now for the rest of October and into November is the Phillip. And he's up right now. Phillip, welcome to the show. How are you?
Disappointed.
What's got you down now?
Perfect.
What's got you disappointed now?
Yesterday's Thom Abraham show was the worst Thom Abraham show I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
You have gone down a couple of notches, buddy.
Really? I'm like a prophet now. Now I'm not the Messiah. I'm just a prophet.
It's despicable. And you're not starting off real well either. So on today's show.
We got you in early. Calm down. We got you in early, sir. Calm down.
Today's not good either.
According to you, you support the philosophy of the dumbest sport that there is out there, which is college football. They call it a playoff, but at the end of it, they got a bunch of suits and, I don't know, maybe a couple of skirts sitting around a board meeting table deciding who's going to play in the national championship.
Yeah.
And
not in the national championship, in the playoff. Yeah, who's getting into the playoff?
Why do all the best players across the country want to go to the SEC? Well, it's because they put the SEC teams in the championship games, time and time. We don't care if they didn't win their conference. Let's put them in anyway. So according to you, you just went through your little baseball thing there. So according to you, should the MLB just go, screw the Phillies, they weren't good enough. We don't even care if they win. We're going to pick another team to play in the World Series from the National League.
No, but should we go that deep in the playoffs? Should we go all the way down to the Phillies in the playoffs, or should we have less playoff teams? I mean, why don't we let everybody in? Why do we care about 162 if you can get in with 87 wins? What is the 162 worth if 87 wins is good enough? I mean, shouldn't winning 100 games mean something? Shouldn't it be reserved for the top 4 teams in each league? Don't you think that maybe, and go best of 7 in each series and give us best of 7 among the, you still have the same number of games. Why do you got to have the Mets eliminated in a 2 out of 3? That ain't right. Why would the Braves be eliminated in a 3 out of 5? That ain't right. You should take the best 4 teams in each. Okay, well, that's the format in college football. Well, that's the format in college football.
College football created the format. And after the format plays out, they sit around and go, that format doesn't really matter. We're going to do this. It's stupid.
Yeah, they have a committee, just like they do that in basketball. Is it stupid in basketball? They have 33 at-large teams in basketball.
That's the format. You
right.
win, you go on. You lose, you don't. What is so difficult with college football to understand that?
Well, they're expanding it.
Sorry.
They're going to go to 12.
There will never be an upset greatest championship game in college football history because college football won't allow it. We don't care if you.
But does that give you a true champion? If a team gets upset like that, is that a true champion? If it happens. See, college football still believes in the regular season.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back, Tom. Let's go back. Let's go NFL.
Yeah.
How about Jets Colts?
Yeah.
In your college format deal there,
right?
We wouldn't know who Joe Namath was. We'd have never heard of him.
Yeah. Well, they were pretty good in their league. They won the AFL that year. They were good. They were like 12-2, I think, that year, or something like that, 11-3. That's a bad example. Use the example of look. You want to use an example in the NFL? Use the example of the Giants at 10-6 beating the 16-0 Patriots in the Super Bowl, and the Giants are the world champions that year. That's all we know is that the Giants. Who was the best team in that year, in 2007 or whatever year that was? Who was the best team in football? The Giants, yeah, because they're the champions. Right, because they won the championship.
They won. That's what matters.
I hear you.
Not a bunch of greased back, whatever, briefcase carrying jerks sitting in around some conference room.
But it's better than what it used to be. It's better. Picking 4 is better than when they used to pick 2 and have a computer pick them. And coming up in a couple of years, they're going to have 12. You win your conference, you're going to the playoff. What's wrong with that? Just taking a minute to get there. They'll get there.
No, you win your conference, you're in. If you don't, you don't. The only thing them people sitting around that board table need to figure out is which one of the 5 don't get in. Now, that's okay. I understand numbers. I mean, you can only have 4. But if you don't win your conference in college football, you don't belong in the college football championship game. Period.
In the playoffs. I do not actually disagree with you there. I don't disagree with you there. Thanks for the call, Philip. I got a jet. I got to talk some baseball with Josh Carey. But I will say this. I do not disagree with Philip on that take, on that part of it. I actually kind of believe that a little bit. The problem is that like last year, Georgia's not a playoff team. They're picking the 4 best teams, period. They're picking the 4 best teams. Is there any doubt in anybody's mind that after Alabama upset, because they were a dog, after Alabama upset Georgia in Atlanta, is there any doubt in anybody's mind that Georgia at least deserved to be a playoff team, which they went on and won the playoff? The Giants were a wild card team. The Packers were a wild card team. The 1980 Raiders were a wild card team. They didn't win their division. They got to go to the NFL playoffs. I'm arguing with myself. Grizz, we could make the case to Phillip then that the Mets shouldn't have been in the playoffs this year.
Oh, without a doubt.
They didn't even win their division.
Without a doubt,
right?
yeah. Didn't win the division.
According to Phillips, they didn't win anything. You don't win a wild card spot.
They got the top wild card spot.
They got the top wild card spot, but they didn't win their division.
And they lost to the Padres, who got the second wild card spot.
Right.
Or really, or the third one. I can't remember how it finished. Because it would have. Yeah, they would have got the second because Phillies got they got the cards.
Yeah,
that's right. So yeah.
So the Mets got beat by a team that they finished 13 games ahead of in the playoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, so which way do you want it? Do you want it? You got to win something to be in? And then what would you do with baseball? You got 3. Should we break baseball into 4 divisions? Which, by the way, I wouldn't hate. If you told me that we had 4 divisions in each league, add 2 more teams, all right, Nashville gets a team, and who else gets a team, Grez? Let's give another team. Just what other city is Vegas?
Would you put a team in Vegas?
Yeah, they're going to.
Pretty much, yeah.
So let's put Vegas and Nashville in the in baseball, and give me 4 4-team divisions in each league, and just take you win your division, you're in.
I'm down with that.
I'd be okay with that. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, Josh Carey from Carey's Corner will join us next. By the way, Grumpy thinks that Phillip is the best caller we have. He thinks he's too long, but he thinks he's the best caller that we have. That's a pretty good take.
Yep, I'm flying through the air. This is not good.
No, that's not good. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. A little Carey's Corner next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
After a long, hot summer, there's nothing quite like the cool, crisp mornings of fall in Huntsville, Alabama. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's time to get out there. Whether it's hunting, camping, boating, biking, or kayaking, we've got the F-150 to take you there. It's truck month at Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got 2022 F-150s in stock on the lot, ready for your driveway today. And with your good credit, get financing as low as 2.9% for up to 60 months. This offer ends 10/31. Being the best-selling truck in America for 44 years in a row is no small feat. But I promise you, if you come drive an F-150, you'll understand. Woody Anderson Ford has nearly 100 F-150s to choose from and lots of colors and option packages. One of these is right for you. Truck month at Woody Anderson Ford. Exceptional deals on all our trucks, SUVs, and crossovers. And a great selection of Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles. Woody Anderson Ford, corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard. And the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be warm. Temperatures only going to climb into the mid and upper 50s. A couple of us might see the lower 60s. I want you to bear in mind temperatures should be climbing into the mid and upper 70s this time of year. Dropping into the low and mid 30s as we head into the overnight and early into your Thursday morning. Mostly sunny sky through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! No look pass inside, but he got to go to play.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage do a tremendous job. They help us out with so many things at the radio station. They help make high school football possible here. They help make the Army football possible on the Blitz. And one of the big sponsors, of course, as well, of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, which you will hear tonight as well. And they do a tremendous job with all of that. They also make sure they get you on the right mortgage property or mortgage item that you need to get your mortgage done right. And when you are making an offer on a property, these days you can't even hardly even look at a house anymore without being pre-approved for your mortgage. And that's where North Alabama Mortgage comes in. They'll get you pre-approved, not pre-qualified, pre-approved, so that you can look at properties and so that you your offer is very, very attractive, to the seller as well. North Alabama Mortgage. Learn more at NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. All right, Josh Carey joins us now of the famous Carey Broadcasting family, and it's time for a little Carey's Corner. He's also, of course, the voice of the Trash Pandas. Josh, welcome in. How are you, man?
I'm good, partner. Getting ready for the LCS, and happy to be on with you.
Yeah, well, we're talking about the fact that we got an 87-win Philly team playing in the NLCS and now are one up. And we were talking about the playoff format. And there's a lot of debate back and forth. I mean, in college football, we always say there's not enough teams. But in baseball, look, I'm no math major. But if you eliminate a 2 out of 3 series and a 3 out of 5 series and just go take the 4 best teams in each league and go best of 7 division, best of 7. That's a potential 14 games, and it takes 8 to win. The other way, there's 15 potential games with the 2 short series, and it takes 9 games to win to get out of your league. We're talking about one game. Why are we looking at 87-win teams, playing in the NLCS? I mean, doesn't it make sense that it would be? I mean, we're totally neutering the 162. It feels like.
Yeah, but like anything else, Tom, it comes down to money. And the more games you play, and the more national attention it gets, then the fact that you can play some of those games early in the afternoon when people can sit at home all day and watch that stuff. I mean, look, the whole reason the owners did this was because they could make more money off it. But it's only one game.
If they go to best of 7 in the divisional, it's one game potentially.
Yeah, I mean, but again, what adding that extra round, that best 2 of 3, that's what drives, I think, people a little more. I mean, one of the things the 2020 pandemic did is it forced everyone to play that extra round. Remember, the Braves played the Reds, and they fell in love with it. And so if they see an opportunity to make more money, that's exactly what they're going to do, and that's exactly why you've seen the expansion as is.
Yeah, I always talk about the basketball tournament, the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and everybody gets excited about those upsets early on. Like, oh, look at that upset. Oh, yeah, look at that. And then you get one of those teams to the Final Four, and then the problem is that now you got to watch them. It's like everybody gets excited about the upset, but then you got to look at them. And that's how I felt like last night. I started, I was settled in. Obviously, I was very happy that the Yankees beat the Indians to move on to the ALCS and set up another epic Yankees-Astros series. But then I sat down to watch the National League, and I'm like, oh, this was great that the Phillies and the Padres, 2 teams that upset better teams. But now I got to watch the Phillies and the Padres for a week. I'm not going to watch that. It would just be so much more compelling. We had 3 100-win teams in the National League that are all sitting at home watching these 2 teams play. It just makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit.
But everyone knows what the rules are. And here's the deal, Tom. You may enjoy that, but there are a lot of other fans out there who would love nothing more than to see a Phillies Guardians World Series or a Padres Guardians World Series. There were a lot of folks who would have loved to have seen Cleveland, who hasn't won a World Series since '48, take on San Diego, who's never won a World Series. So, to each his own. I know what the television executives would have wanted, but right now these are the rules as they sit, and it seems to be working right now because this has actually been one of the better postseasons I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's been good postseason baseball. There's no doubt about it. It's interesting you mentioned the TV execs. I mean, that was a big sigh of relief when they got the Yankees through after losing, Los Angeles and New York with the Mets and the Atlanta Braves. After losing those 3 marquee programs, that they were squeezing big time to get the Yankees through. And certainly TBS will have a very attractive Yankees-Astros series, which begins tonight. But if that's what the TV execs want, they know that's because that's what most of America want. Yeah, there are fans that would love to see Cleveland play San Diego in a World Series, but not a lot of them. There's a lot of those fans that be watching NBA and NHL games during that time. More fans would rather have seen the Yankees play the Braves or, see the Mets in there, against the Astros or something. And, so I got to feel like TV was very, very happy. At least they got the Yankees through. And that Yankees-Astros thing, that's the thing. I mean, that is a modern-day rivalry of 2 teams that are not in the same division. That is, kind of in a way reminds me maybe back in the day of Yankees-Royals, that used to go at it a lot. And some of the other matchups where teams that were not necessarily geographical rivals, it became a great rivalry. It's probably the best rivalry in the American League right now.
Yeah, what's so cool about it is everyone outside of Houston and New York hates them. There's something to not like about either ball club, and yet they each have compelling stories. You got Aaron Judge and all that he's done. You got to think that Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone have kind of need to get at least to the World Series this year to make some fans happy. And then you got the whole situation with Houston and what they went through last year with the scandal. And just the fact that they've been to the World Series, each of the last 2 full season World Series, and have come up short when they were favored both times. Yeah. So they have had the opportunity to be a dynasty, and they haven't come through just because they haven't been able to come up with that final series win. So there's a compelling story to each of them, and it should make for a great week of baseball.
Yeah, Houston's a little bit like the Braves of the '90s. Why didn't they win 3? You know what I mean? It's kind of that same mindset. I'll dispute one thing with you. I don't think that everyone outside of New York and Houston hates those 2 teams. I think it's everyone outside of. I think with Houston that it's everyone outside of Houston because I don't think there are Astro fans that are out there outside of Houston. I think you're right about Houston. With New York, I think there are New York Yankee fans are everywhere. There are Yankee fans all over the country, but there's nobody that's on the fence about the Yankees. It's either you are a Yankee fan or everybody else hates them. It's a lot like Alabama. You're either an Alabama fan, and if you're not an Alabama fan, you hate them. It's not like you sit there and say, yeah, well, I don't care what Alabama does. I don't care what the Yankees do. No. You're either a fan or you hate that team, which is good for the sport.
Yeah, well, let me ask you a question about that. Do you think college football is better right now, this week, since Alabama lost? Do you think it's a more intriguing sport for maybe the casual fan, not the passionate fan, just the casual one?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've said it over and over again. I've said it for the last 15 years. I said it when I was in Nashville for 7 or 8 years, that the SEC is a better place when there's a good team in Knoxville. There's no doubt about it that it is. Look, we have called that hate week forever. There is a whole generation of kids that don't understand why that's hate week. They're like, why? Why do you beat them all the time? I mean, who cares? I mean, there were players in that game that were 3 and 4 years old the last time Tennessee won the game. So the concept of hate week is back. I mean, hate week is back now. And so, yeah, no, you're right. This is much better to add another name to the mix. Now we'll see what happens down the stretch, but, it's definitely good for football.
So let me flip that back over to baseball for a second. I feel that in order for baseball to attract more fans, you got to have someone other than the Dodgers or the Braves or the Yankees. You need something new, something that excites a lot. I remember 2019. I loved seeing the Nationals. I just loved it because it was something different. So when you see those big-name teams get knocked out and you're left with Padres and Phillies and, the Astros and Yankees are a different thing. But when you see different teams like that, I think a casual fan gets a little more has their interest piqued a little bit just because they get to see two teams that they typically don't watch during the regular season. And that's one of the things that makes the NFL so popular. There's just so much parity. I'd like to see a lot more of that in baseball. So when I see those bigger teams getting knocked off by the smaller guy, I think that's only better for the game, and that's also why the NCAA tournament is so big. So seeing it dwindle down like this, I'll take.
Yeah, there's a lot of merit to what you just said there. But I'll just say that Tennessee has the second most SEC championships to Alabama. See, Tennessee has history. They won the 98 national championship. They've had very, very good teams over the years. So Tennessee is a giant that has fallen on hard times. It would be like Nebraska or Texas and some of these other types of places coming back to prominence. And in baseball, even though the Cubs, are the lovable losers, I mean, that was great because it was the Cubs and they have this, this massive fan base and everything else. But I don't know about teams like the Padres and the Nationals and places like that. I think you want to see a return to prominence. Like the Mets was such a great story this year because the Mets, are a team that have some history and have won some championships. Sure. You know what I mean? I think it has to be somebody. I'm trying to think of a baseball team that's on hard times right now that would be the Red Sox, for the last 2 years. But, I think it's better if it's a team that has some history that is coming back to prominence versus somebody that has no history at all to a certain extent. You got somebody to carry the banner. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just feel that when I look at the NFL, which is, I guess, the standard bearer for all of the sports leagues, one thing they have more than anyone else, aside from money, is parity. I just want to see more parity. One reason I can't watch the NBA is I know who's going to be in the Final Four. Yeah. Even college football right now, who have been the four main teams the last 7 or 8 years? Georgia, Bama, Ohio State. You can throw Clemson in there. Yeah, things are a little different this year. So I want more. I want to see more teams involved, and it makes it more lively as you go through the regular season.
I don't even know if it's that different this year. I mean, right now you've got Ohio State and Georgia as the two favorites, according to ESPN's FPI, the two favorites to go to the playoff. The next two favorites are Alabama and Clemson, with Michigan close behind, and now Tennessee is got a shot, but they have to beat Georgia. So 3 of those 4, you could make a case that Alabama, Tennessee, and Michigan are basically fighting for the 4th spot. That everybody feels like it's still Clemson's going to run the table in the ACC. Georgia and Ohio State are going to be there, and so they've still got 3 teams battling, and that's it. I mean, it's 7 or 8 deep. This is interesting though about parity. I did it last week. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I thought this was fascinating. since 2000, and now that's a pretty good, I'm talking about 22 years. Since 2000, there have been 16 different MLB teams win the World Series out of 30. 16 out of 30. And in the NFL, since 2000, there's been 14 teams out of 32 that have won the Super Bowl because the Patriots won 6 of them.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Yeah, right. But that, to me, I was like, the league of parity is always the NFL. But in reality, when you look at the different teams that have won World Series since 2000, there's a higher percentage of baseball teams that have won the World Series than NFL teams that have won the Super Bowl. That blew my mind. I wouldn't think that.
Yeah, let me expand on that, though, and I'm expanding on it with a question to you. What teams are getting into the playoffs, though? I mean, are we seeing when you look at baseball, you're right, the final winner is someone different, but you might still get Yankees and Dodgers and Braves and, the Red Sox, those teams. At least in the NFL, you can see a team like the Falcons, who no one saw being 3-3. Suddenly, here they are playing pretty good football. That's, to me, the parity is not so much just about who wins it. It's about who gets to the postseason and how do they perform during the regular season as well. So when I say parity, I'm meaning it from a season-long standpoint.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. What about Cincinnati Bengals last year? You go back one year. They were 3-13 the year before. The next year, they're in the Super Bowl. I mean, you don't see that in baseball. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of it. I don't even know a team in baseball that would be like the Marlins going. You know what I mean, or something like that. And all of a sudden, they're in the Super Bowl or in the World Series.
The Pirates.
Right. All right, and it would be better, by the way, if the Pirates. There's a team. There's one. If the Pirates were good, it would be a good thing for Major League Baseball. That's a city that deserves to have better. Cincinnati, you could say the same thing. I think I would love to see the return of their, contenders in baseball. All right, the Yankees are flawed. They only score on home runs, and you just can't be good people doing that. I don't see how they're going to get over the Astros, who have better pitching across the board and who have better guys that put the ball in play. Especially without Andrew Benintendi. I think if Andrew Benintendi was there, that would help the Yankees a lot because he's a guy that at least puts the ball in play. But just your take, I think it's Astros in 6, but your take on the ALCS for the third time that these teams get together in the ALCS in the last 6 years. Can the Yankees get over, or are you leaning towards the Astros?
Yeah, I got the Astros in 6 as well. I just feel the pitching is a lot better. They're playing at home. They'll have home field advantage. And by the way, that place, it's not Minute Maid anymore. I can't remember what it's called. But that's become a pretty tough place to play. And don't underestimate this either, Tom. They're angry. They should have won 2019. They had no business. Losing 2021, the Braves were really riding a hot streak at that time. And Houston's pitching was a little sketchy. But still, they were favored entering that series. This time, there's a mission, and now that the door has sort of been like this, they ought to hold series. Obviously, it's not set in stone. But that's an angry baseball team that really deserves to have more than one world title. Oh, and one against them as well. So there's a lot of they and the Yankees are the two teams that have to win a World Series, and I just think Houston needs it a little bit more than the Yankees do.
But they also cheated the Yankees out of 17 and 19, so maybe the Yankees got a little something score to settle too. So I think it's going to be a fascinating series. By the way, it is still Minute Maid. It's not Enron anymore, but it is still Minute Maid Park. So it's Minute Maid Park.
Wow.
Yeah, that's still Minute Maid. Believe it or not, it's been Minute Maid for like 10 years. Yeah, right. They changed so fast. All right, man. I appreciate you as always. Enjoy it, and by the time we talk again, we'll get very close to having a World Series matchup.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
All right, man. Thanks. Text one to know. Are you tone deaf? We are pulling for San Diego because they